against Maryland, keeping the Blue Jays right in the contest.
Yeah, it would have been a 15-8 game rather than a couple goal game if Orange Alliance did not stand on his head the way he did against Maryland last weekend. And that's a huge rivalry game for a goalie that transferred in from Ohio State because of a guy named Caleb Fyock, Big Tasty. So he comes to Hopkins, expects to back up Stout, who won the position battle. Because of an injury, takes over. But for Penn State, it's Jack Frassian, who's having an offseason, still projected to be the third goalie taken off the board in the PLL. May be some difference in that depending on how things shake up. But he's an excellent netminder who's taken a step back this year. It should be exciting in this game. And
Frassian, just 4 goals allowed over the last 2 against Johns Hopkins and Rutgers, so playing his best lacrosse at the right time as the opening faceoff is still on the ground, and now it is going to be scooped up by Baldwin. Baldwin in the offensive side, tried a behind-the-back pass to Traynor, and Traynor gets smashed early and is down on the turf. And there is a flag thrown. It was Liam Burke, the talented freshman for the Blue Jays, getting all of Traynor on that one.
And that's something to note here. Watch this hit. It's up high in the shoulder area, head area as well. We'll see what the official ruling is. Traynor missed a few games this season with an undisclosed injury. It's not been reported what it was, but he missed a couple games. He's been great since coming back, but if something continues to linger around and plague him, Penn State can run into some trouble.
Traynor did have to hop off the field for a little while in the first meeting just about 2 weeks ago before these two sides, but he ended up returning. He had 7 goals and an assist in that first contest. 8 points is tied a career high, as did the 7 goals. Is now Penn State man up. As Luke Wallstrom circles around from X, gives it to Ethan Long. Wallstrom to Kyle Lehman, back to Wallstrom, up top, Long, his shot scores! Bounces past Jelinas, and Penn State is up early as they get the man-up goal.
Coming into the game, 43.2%, 16 of 37 on the season, good for 19th in the nation on the man-up, and right there, Ethan Long. Bouncers go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching at home, you're a young kid, your coaches are going to preach it to you. Bouncers will go, and that right there, a beautiful shot from Long. An excellent player. He's a very cerebral player for Penn State. That's something Jeff Tambroni talks about a lot. He's a smart player. You see it here, though, with the bouncer. Off stick, off hip on Jelinas. That's a hard save to make as a netman.
It was unreleasable, too, for Burke, so Penn State still on the man advantage for another 43 seconds. They've already gotten out to the 1-0 lead. You remember in the first contest between these two, Penn State and Johns Hopkins scored a combined 2 goals in the first period. It was Penn State opening it up in the second quarter, as now Baldwin will get another face-off. We're still on the turf. Brendan Leary picks it up for Penn State. Sophomore. Gives it over to Kyle Lehman. Penn State up early in the Big 10 tournament quarterfinal. Winner goes on to Ann Arbor to face the number 2 seeded Maryland Terrapins. Johns Hopkins coming off a loss to the Terrapins as a behind-the-back pass from Traynor finds Long. Amon goes to Lehman. Johns Hopkins coming off a loss, just a couple goal difference between them and Maryland a week ago. Traynor, Amon fakes his shot. It's now on the turf. Ground ball loose, and it will find its way into Jelinas' crease. So man advantage expires for Penn State. But the Nittany Lions do get the first goal, as now Johns Hopkins, who just scored 4 goals against Penn State the last time these two teams played, looks to get their offense going a lot earlier today. And Hayden, they've made some changes since the last time they faced.
Yeah, big number 16, Matt Collison, playing down low at attack, played there last week against Maryland. He's an unbelievable player, a big-time box lacrosse background. He's very two-handed. He'll play on that left wing. He's left-hand dominant, but he can score inside, has a hammer outside, great dodger as well. They need it.
Charlie Eiler with it, gives it to Hunter Chauvette. Now it's Chuck Rawson on the far side of the field. Back to Chauvette. Chauvette held quiet relatively against Penn State. A goal, one of the 4 for Hopkins. It's Eiler. Met by Kyle Aldridge, trying to dodge around him. Can't quite. Going to pass it up top. It's Brooks English. English back to Eiler. Kyle Aldridge wrapped all over him. Now switch defensively. Eiler makes a move. His shot save made by Frassian. Frassian passing 600 saves in Penn State's last contest, just the 4th Nittany Lion goaltender to reach that plateau. As Leary quick the other way for the Nittany Lions. Gives it off to Aldridge. Now Lehman.
Lehman's going to slow it down. Last week early in the contest against Maryland, number 6 right here, Quentin Kilrain, a little early on a couple sides. It was consistent within the defense. It's trying to find a communicator with the new goalie and Jelinas coming in for half the season. They lost a communicator in Stout, so they're still really trying to find some organization back there.
Ethan Long has it. Lion goal scorer. So they lead 1-0. Just 3 minutes gone by. Big Ten quarterfinal. It's Kyle Lehman met by Quentin Kilrain. Gives it off Long. His shot. That one ricochets high. Penn State closest to it. Luke Wallstrom backing it up. So Nittany Lions retain possession with 28 on the shot clock. Wallstrom finds his spot at X. Passes it up. Long to Amon. Amon had a sweep behind the back goal. These two teams met 2 weeks ago. Amon, his shot. That one saved by Jelinas. Going down to the knee to get it. Long pass out ahead. That one connects to Eric McDonald. McDonald into the attacking side. Now Smith, his shot. Save made Frassian. And he'll go the long pass. Pushing the pace, it's Liam Matthews. Matthews to Trainer. Scores! Behind the back for Matt Trainer. And his tear against the Blue Jays continues.
And right there, you see it. Scott Smith comes all the way down the field in transition, rips a pull shot from about 15 out. That's 2-point range in the PLL. Easy save for Frassian. It was high to high, catches it right in his twig, and then immediately a great outlet. That's one thing coaches are looking for out of their goalies. Passes to the stick in transition, finds Matthews right away, and then look right here. Matthews delays just long enough to find Trainer far side. When he has that much space, he loves to go with the magical touch at the end. He's like a spot shooter in the NBA. Think Dante DiVincenzo or another big-time three-point shooter. When he's hot, he's going to rip it from anywhere, and he can score in spurts.
Again, 7 goals for Matt Trainer. The last time they met, Trainer sitting atop the Big Ten in points per game with 4 and in goals per game with 3. Missed a couple of games, as Hayden said earlier, but since returning has been nearly unstoppable. That is 31st goal of the season, 45th point. In his 11th game played, he has started all of them for the Nittany Lions, and they're out to a 2-0 lead. Just over 4 minutes gone. It's now Trainer, works from the far side. Gives it to Duraco. Duraco makes a move, pushes in on Jelinas, and will pass it back behind the net. Will Peden. Nice move that time, and Jelinas with the save as Peden taken to the ground after the shot. So Jelinas has had a back and forth start. Two goals allowed and 2 saves so far for the junior from Massachusetts. Penn State leads 2-0, 10 minutes to go in the first. Winner advances to play Maryland in the Big Ten tournament semifinals. Hopkins attacking side, passing it off. Down low, it was Charlie Eiler. Now Dylan Bauer up top. Bauer pushes in. His shot scores. Dylan Bauer goes straight in on Frassian, and he's got Hopkins on the board with his 15th goal of the season.
Bauer's a very interesting player. He's a little bit undersized as an attackman, but he's super shifty, a very athletic player, and he does a great job of finding his spots on the field to capitalize. Right there, it just looks like Frassian guesses the wrong way. It's a great job dodging downhill onto Bartolomeo. Then Frassian thought maybe it's coming short side. He wanted the slide. You could tell him, you could see him talking to Kevin Parham there after that went by him. Where's the slide there? Why aren't you coming up the alley to meet that player and prevent that shot?
Goals in now 11 straight for Dylan Bauer as the face-off still on the ground, eventually picked up, getting attacked for it. Penn State comes away with it. Good aggressive play that time for the Nittany Lions as Lehman has it. See physicality so far early from both sides, but going back to Bauer, getting the first goal for the Blue Jays. This is a Blue Jays team that has really seeked some offensive production since Russell Melendez hasn't been in the lineup in a while as Wallstrom finds Amon. Now Trainer, his shot, that one goes wide. Melendez has missed the last 5 games, and in that span, Hopkins 0-5 with a 7.6 goals per game clip. They were 6-1 with him, and they're still seeking to make up his production, and Dylan Bauer gets him on the board first. As Trainer, already with a goal, makes a sweet dodge and behind the back again. This time, can't get on to Jelinas, but Trainer comes away with it. Tried to cause that turnover by Matt Trainer as now Long and Amon work for it.
Penn State has matchups they like right now on the offensive side of the field. Trainer is not being guarded by Smith right now, so it won't be a surprise to see 22 get the ball back in his twig here shortly.
Right now it's on the stick of 21. That's Luke Wallstrom. Quentin Kilrain on him. Wallstrom, Lehman on the near side. Now Lehman pushes in for a potential pass. Instead, Keppett circles around to X. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Penn State leads 2-1. A beautiful Saturday, University Park. As Lehman works around, shot, scores! Kyle Lehman circles from X and gets his 17th goal this season, and Penn State with a 3-goal first period leads it 3-1.
On that look right there. So Penn State they have so many guys who played attack in high school, running out of the box. Lehman's playing attack, but he gets switched onto the short stick defensive midfielder. So right away, they worked a 2-man game with Matthews. It's an over pursuit down low from the other shorty, and then he just wraps back around and buries one short side on Jelinas. When those Penn State midfielders or even the attackmen see they have a shorty, they're told, go down low, we'll work a 2-man game, try and get you free coming uphill, up the hash.
Violation this time on Baldwin, so Logan Callahan comes away with the face-off win. For Kyle Lehman, came off a 2-goal performance with an assist against Rutgers, and early on the board now is the sophomore from Ambler, Pennsylvania, as Johns Hopkins goes back to work. Got a goal there last time down here. Went off the stick of Dylan Bauer, and Blue Jays, Logan Callahan getting that face-off win, giving them possession. Big 10 second team honoree is Callahan. 8th best face-off percentage in the nation, as now Hopkins goes to work. Matt Collison sitting at 99 career points. Now pushes in a bit, but pushed back out by John King. Collison looking for the wraparound. His shot save made. Frassian. 3rd save of the contest for Jack Frassian. Johns Hopkins, Hayden, this offense looks a bit different. We talked about the changes, but generating more opportunities earlier in the game than they did the last time 2 weeks ago.
And that's a take you really like from Carlson. Maybe you wanted to get a little higher inside the middle of the field there, work topside a little bit more, because he's 6'4", he's 220 plus pounds. He's a big physical presence, and when he's on a shorty like that, he's just got to go and take that to the rack. He's got a big enough body. He can take on a guy like John King, pretend like he's Charles Barkley in the paint.
Now Penn State's offense back at it. 3 goals, leading 3-1. Just under 6.5 minutes to go in the first. That shot. Save made Jelinas. It was bouncing up in the crease. Looked like there was a chance it bounced behind him, but Jelinas recovered and made now his 4th save. So goalies flashing early. Jack Frassian with 3 saves. Jelinas with 4. As now Hopkins quick, and there's Collison. He gets the goal, his 100th career point, and Johns Hopkins cuts the deficit to 1.
And this is where Penn State struggled the most this season. It's transition defense. When they play settled defense, they've been rock solid. They held Rutgers scoreless in settled offense for over 45 minutes last week. But you see here, great pass by Liam Burke. It's a late slide from Kevin Parnham, and when Carlson has that much space from inside 7, he's going to bury it every time. He's so crafty. He can go low to high. He can go low to low like he did right there on that goal. He's a guy, you've got to know where 16 is on the field at all times in the game. And that's why Penn State's top pull, Alex Ross, is on him, but in that situation, slide away, you're forced to get a second guy there, and he has too much free space.
Gills took the face-off that time for the Nittany Lions. They win it, and now Leary, bounce shot, jump shot, score! Brendan Leary with the quick answer, his 4th goal of the season, 4th goal of the contest for the Nittany Lions, and it's 4-2.
2 of his 4 goals, by the way, from his own side of the midfield line. He's got 2 goals against 10-man rides, but you see it here. Another one of those guys, he played both sides of the field in high school. Right there, a beautiful jumper, fading away from the cage. Nice little bounce shot. You see the crowd here at Panzer Stadium.
They are certainly into it, a crowded Panzer Stadium that likely going to end up over at Beaver Stadium later today. As Colby Baldwin back in the face-off dot wins it for the Nittany Lions into the attacking side, and Matt Trainer will slow things down a little bit, makes a dodge around back into the attacking third for the Nittany Lions. So just as quick as Johns Hopkins gets their 2nd goal, Penn State answers 12 seconds of game time later with their 4th. They're doubling up the Blue Jays. It was Collison's 20th goal of the season, 100th career point, 69 of which have come off of goals, 31 assists. And now Brendan Leary, 4th goal this season. Ryan Duraka, 35 to go on the shot clock.
Collison's got a lot of Eric Dobson in him, but I think he's an even better player. Dobson, a 2nd-round pick to the Chaos last year.
Lehman gets shoved away, passes it off. Now Matthews, good dodge move. Matthews, shot, save made, Jelinas. Matthews gets right onto Jelinas, and he answers.
Another one of those crafty Canadian guys that grew up playing box lacrosse. Matthews only has a left hand, and he's even come out and said it. I don't have a right, I stick to that left, so he's going to do anything he can to get that left hand free. It was a great move there with the split, but couldn't get it done. Penn State looks like they went off sides. There is a flag down. It's not 100% offside, but that's what would make most sense. I didn't see it when it happened.
Liam Burke has the ball, got the assist on that Collison goal. It was the 1st assist of the season for the freshman in Burke. Getting the honor of the 19 number for Johns Hopkins this season. As Collison, fresh off that career milestone, has it on the far side. Signals for Eric Chick to come set a screen. Now Collison, flag still down, looks for a centering pass. It doesn't connect, and now as that ball goes out, we get word on what the flag is. 3:40 to go in this 1st quarter. Penn State leading 4-2 in the Big 10 tournament quarterfinal.
We're going to see a lot of that pick action for Collison because Alex Ross is such a physical defender down low and wants to get into the body. He loves to engage the body of the player he's marking in a contest. Hopkins is going to have to use those screens to free up Collison throughout the contest.
Now man up are the Blue Jays. Just 30 seconds that time. It's Chuck Rawson finds Chauvet, and Chauvet finds the net. Hunter Chauvet with his 22nd goal of the season. 3rd goal of the game for Hopkins, and it's 4-3.
The penalty was an offsides on Ryan Durako, hence the 30-second technical foul, giving Hopkins the man up. And you can't let one of the smoothest strokes in college lacrosse have that much space because he's going to pin a corner, and right there Penn State learned that the hard way. Hunter Chauvet kind of has a similar left-handed release to Mac O'Keefe, who's the Penn State all-time leader in goals, was the NCAA leader until last year when Peyton Cormier broke that record, and now CJ Kirsch, the projected #1 overall pick, may break that record by 20 goals. So that tells you where the sport of lacrosse is as it continues to grow and develop at all levels.
I was going to say, Hayden, one of the notes you gave me on Hunter Chauvet was left-handed, wants to rip, Mac O'Keefe shooting style, and that certainly came through there, that left-handed rip. Nets the 3rd goal of the game for the Blue Jays. It's 4-3. Much more action-packed 1st quarter of action here in the 2nd meeting of 2025 between the Blue Jays and Nittany Lions. Jack Amon with it, circles around, feeds up top Wallstrom. Now to Ethan Long. Got the 1st goal of what has been a 7-goal 1st quarter. Still plenty of time. 2:50 to go. Lehman circles around. That shot got blocked by Jelinas, and Now a good play by Long, not allowing Quentin Kilrain's pass to connect. But Kilrain made up for it. And the offensive side now, Hopkins, a chance to tie on this possession. Jimmy Ayers sits up top. Finds Chuck Rawson towards midfield. Rawson into the attacking side. Gives it back to Ayers. Ayers, sweet move. Shot save made by Frasian. Used his legs that time. A little kick save action from Jack Frasian. Keeping Hopkins off the board with their fourth. Now Matt Cobbs loses it midfield. Good play that time on the far side, but who else but Matt Collison.
Cardinal sin committed there by Penn State, clearing box side. You're gonna get punished. And these are two teams, both in the top 10 in clearing percentage on the season in the country. So it's an uncharacteristic error from the Nittany Lions there. And now Matt Cobbs is hung out on Jimmy Ayers, who's one of the fastest players on this Hopkins team.
Just saw Jimmy Ayers make a nice move last time he had it. Rawson finds Eiler. Back up to Chuck Rawson. Hunter Chauvet held off the board against Penn State last time. Got the third goal this time for Johns Hopkins. Has only been held pointless in 2 games this season. As Chauvet back with it on his stick, Brendan Leary meets him. Forces him further out towards the alley. Now Bauer. Kyle Aldridge on him. Bauer. Top Rawson. Stick that time from Parnham. Diverts Rawson from his original plan. Jimmy Ayers. Ayers circling around. Now up top. Rawson. His shot squeaks by. Chuck Rawson ties the game at 4. His 12th goal of his sophomore campaign, and he was able to squeak that one just through the iron and Frasian.
One of the biggest issues with the Hopkins offense this season without Russell Melendez has been a lack of guys cutting through the box and causing disruptions on the defense. You see a cut there from Carlson. There were cuts all over the field. Rawson gets lost outside and around the perimeter, cutting from right to left across the top of the box. Aldridge late to slide, and that's why he's able to catch and shoot. Frasian's not happy he didn't make that save. He thought he should have had it. When that ball went in, past him in the net, it came back out, and he chucked it away. He was not happy with himself.
4-4 with 40 seconds to go as faceoff goes the way of Penn State. King gives it to Lehman. Lehman will slow things down. Penn State possibly holding for the final shot of the quarter. The Lions have 12 shots, 9 of which have gotten on net, 4 of which have gone by Orange Elias, but Elias, coming off his 20-save performance against Maryland, has 5. Lehman pushes through. Now Wallstrom. Wallstrom, Trainer spins around, he scores! Matt Trainer with his second goal of the contest, spinning dodge that time, and the Nittany Lions take a 5-4 lead with just 3 seconds left in the quarter.
One word Jeff Tambroni uses to describe Matt Trainer week after week: confidence. And you see it right here. That's composure, but it's also confidence to know I've got a short stick defensive midfielder in Jack Monfort on my hip right now. I can roll off of him, then I'll throw a fake because I don't feel a slide coming in. I trust myself to also throw a fake and soak a hit and still score a goal, because that's all he's done for 4 years for Penn State.
Final faceoff goes the way of Baldwin. Will look good in the stats, but Nittany Lions didn't have enough time to get anything through. Penn State leads 5-4 at the end of the first.
The biggest thing for both teams, you've got to figure it out defensively in the settled looks. Hopkins, they gave up a man-up goal, so did Penn State, so it's really 4-3 in terms of settled looks. Penn State gave up one in the transition game as well, so did Hopkins, so it's 3-2 settled defense. Penn State's strength is their settled defense. Hopkins' strength is also the defense because the offense has struggled all year, so they have to bunker down here.
Matt Trainer with his second goal of the contest gives 5.
It's been Trainer again. He's got 2 goals and an assist, and for Johns Hopkins, it's been a balanced offense. The bulk of it's run through Matt Carlson. He's been generating a lot of looks for them because he's such a mismatch down low.
Johns Hopkins heading left to right now across your screen. Their black road uniforms, white numbers, blue accents. So they look to tie this one up. They've had a lot of success against Penn State in this Big Ten tournament. Faced them 4 times. Lead it 3-1 when they play in postseason action. As Rawson, fresh off his goal, gives it to Bauer. Bauer, quick shot, score. And tied right back up is Dylan Bauer with his 16th goal of the season, his second of the contest. Good looking possession that time for the Blue Jays.
It's an unbelievable skip across the entire defense there to Bauer. Great feed by Rawson. You see it there. Penn State over pursues the strong side of the field where the ball is. Bauer recognizes it, gets open off ball, catch and release. An excellent shot to bounce it by Frasian. He's a guy that's 19th ranked at his position for the PLL. A guy that probably won't be drafted, but he may hear his name, may get a phone call, go to training camp. Every team can roster 30 for training camp ahead of the season. He could find his way onto a team out of the box or down low.
Face-off this time goes the way of Colby Baldwin and the Nittany Lions in a freshly tied game quickly into the second quarter of action. And we said Hopkins leads 3-1 in the tournament. Last time they met in the Big Ten tournament back in 2022, Hopkins doubled the score of Penn State, winning 16-8. Meeting before that, they won 15-7 in the tournament. Of course, an overtime game back in 2019, one of the best games that Penn State played against Hopkins, 18-17, the final on a neutral field. Playing up another one of those close games so far in this contest.
Hopkins is also the only team to almost run the table as the 6th seed in the Big Ten tournament. Last time they were the 6th seed, 2021. They beat Penn State that year, and then they also beat Rutgers before they fell to Maryland in the championship game. That year, Maryland won the NCAA tournament. They were a wagon, so they've been here before.
Had a lot of success against the Nittany Lions, too, as they're into the offensive side. Blue Jays lead the all-time series 14-6. It's down low with it. Hopkins shot misses that time, coming off the stick of Charlie Eiler. Obviously, the last meeting went the way of the Nittany Lions. They've kind of split the last couple. Penn State's won the last 2 here at Panzer Stadium.
A couple of years ago, it was a double overtime game. Kevin Winkoff swept across the top of the box from left to right here on this side of the field for the game winner. It was an amazing game under the lights here at Panzer.
Eiler spins around. Centering feed that time for English. Shot misses well wide. Backing it up that time on the far side is Matt Collison. At Homewood, though, Johns Hopkins 9 consecutive wins in the series. As that pass out to Bauer. Shot. They've gotten a piece of Frasian or the iron. So it redirected, and it resets the shot clock. Good looking shot from Dylan Bauer today. 30 with 2 goals, that one nearly a third.
Hopkins is catching Penn State. The defense is sloughing inside onto the strong side late in the clock, and Hopkins is finding lanes to skip it across the box for free looks. It's great offense right now from them.
Rawson. Out of Hunter Chauvette. Chauvette gonna spin around and now makes a different dodge there against Bartolomeo. Now Aldridge on Bauer. Bauer gonna spin. Doesn't quite have the lane. Goes down to Chauvette, and that shot goes well high. With 23 seconds to go on the shot clock. It's another one of those skip passes that time for Hopkins. She couldn't quite bury it. It's English. Now to Collison. Collison. Shot save made by Frasian. That ball hits the pylon over at the box. It's the closest to it.
Penn State may work into a zone here with this extended defensive possession. We'll wait and see what happens, but it would not be a shock. They've rolled into a zone multiple times this season when extended, but right now it's staying man based on how Alex Ross looked like he was going to approach Collison if he got the ball.
2 shot clock resets already in this possession for the Blue Jays, commanding the pace in their attacking side. Dylan Bauer Top, it's Liam Burke, the freshman. Jimmy Ayers. Collison. Blocked that time by Parnham. Collison comes and collects it. 16 on 16 crime that time. 15 seconds to go on the shot clock. Up top, Burke finds the feed down low, and Hopkins takes the lead. It's Eric Chick right out in front. 7th goal of the sophomore season for Eric Chick, and the Blue Jays lead 6-5 with just under 11 minutes to go in the first half.
And it's another occasion where Penn State loses itself in the slide game. It loses itself defensively. No 2-slide comes down low to Chick, who is operating in the middle. You just see him work off the post. Aldridge there comes to the middle of the field expecting a pass or a dodge inside as the hot man, as the guy that's supposed to slide there to help. Leaves his guy alone on the side of the crease there, and there's no communication. Parnham late from the other side of the field on the coma. It's a free goal for Chick. This Hopkins offense is looking unbelievable, something they haven't had all season long.
Definitely have not had since Russell Melendez left with the injury. They had another good performance last week against Maryland, keeping it close there. Orange Linus on the defensive side helped out an offense that was able to tally 8 goals, coming off of just a 4-goal performance against the Nittany Lions. 14 goals combined in that contest. We already have 11 combined goals in this first half, and there's still 10 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
And what we're seeing today defensively from Penn State is what's kind of plagued Jack Frasian's season. Alex Ross last week after the win talked about how this defense, they feel like they've given up too many freebies against Frasian, shots that aren't savable for a netminder, and they're taking full responsibility for his numbers not being as high as where they usually are.
It's 2 back-to-back really good performances for Jack Frasian, as now Eiler, coming from X, is met by Parnham. Goes up top, Javette, his shot save made, and it ricochets all the way out of play. Frasian last week against Rutgers, 4 goals allowed on 13 saves.
And there it is again.
Johns Hopkins leads 6-5 as the centering pass found Eric Chick, and Eric Chick found the back of the net past Jack Frasian, and the visitors lead here at Panther Stadium. Big 10 tournament quarterfinal. Winner goes to Ann Arbor to play number 2 Maryland on Thursday before the Big 10 championship takes place on Saturday. Justin Chevalella joined by Hayden Lewis. And Hayden, Johns Hopkins has been suffocating Penn State on the offensive side, in their attacking side that is, as Penn State hasn't touched the ball since the 13:50 mark of this quarter. As Eiler circles around, Parnham on him. Chuck Rawson goes and takes some more time out in that far side area near the sideline. Looked for the center feed to Bauer, a stick on it, and Penn State going the other way with it. Brendan Leary, the one to cause that turnover, streaks down the field, and his bounce shot misses, but Liam Matthews there to back it up.
And that deflection on the pass was actually made by Leary, and then he went on the punt return, 1-man clear. Unfortunate there to not get a clean shot off for his sake. Would have been his second if he scored in this contest.
So Penn State now with possession, just the second time in the quarter that you can say the Nittany Lions have been able to set up on their attacking side. It's Ethan Long with the lone shot, or now there's 2 shots as a flag flies. Looked like high contact that time on Ethan Long. So Matt Traynor will backpedal the Nittany Lions, who are about to go man up. Luke Wallstrom, far side of the field, finds a pass to Lehman, and Lehman's shot goes high. 8:27 to go in the second. We get a stoppage for the flag.
It's a cross-check to that head-neck area. That's when there's some conversation. If it's incidental, it'll be 1 minute. If it's, they're going to take a look at it. The referee just made the review signal. So if it's incidental contact, it's 1 minute, non-releasable. 2 minutes if it's purposeful. But you see it there. It's shoulder first, rolls his way up. Not a terrible check there from Martin. And then it's just an unfortunate bounce. We'll see. They're putting it up as a minute, so he should be fine. It's 1 minute releasable penalty. Penn State scores. He's back on the field. If if it was on purpose and it was forceful, it could have been upwards of 2 to 3 minutes, depending on what the refs saw.
So Long Island native heads to the box for Johns Hopkins, and the Nittany Lions already with a man-up goal, looking for a second. Long finds Matthews, save made Jelinas, and there's a battle for the ground ball, and there was a crease violation for the Nittany Lions. I believe Kyle Lehman was just about to pick it up, but stepped in. So big save by Jelinas there on the man advantage for the Nittany Lions. Still man up for another 30 seconds, but possession in favor right now of the Blue Jays as Quentin Kilrain brings it past the midfield line. His pass originally missed, but it's eventually picked up by Tyler I. Just playing with it in the midfield are the Blue Jays, waiting for the final 10 seconds now of the man up for Penn State to expire. Just staying in that time, Matt Collison. Pass right on that sideline. Blue Jays lead it 6-5, 7:20 to go in the second quarter. Bauer, now Jimmy Ayers. Ayers to Collison, right on that Big 10 logo. Collison, Alex Ross on him. Circles it. Now it's Burke. Burke, his pass goes well too high. It's going to be picked up by Matt Traynor. Ground ball scooped up that time for number 22, and now Traynor. He finds Aldridge. Aldridge, his shot, save made Jelinas. And Jelinas will push the pace out to midfield with it. Patrick Deans. Deans slows things down. And now Collison. So Oren Jelinas answering the call here for the Blue Jays. Mark that as 8th save of the contest. Then coming off of 20. A 12 against Penn State 14 days ago. Chuck Rawson finds Hunter Chauvet. Now Bauer. It's been a lot of attacking zone time for Johns Hopkins as Bauer's shot goes wide of Frassia. 6 minutes to go, 6:01 to be precise.
Right there again. Two slide was John King. His man was Dylan Bauer. He sloughed off of him a bit. Bauer got free. Just unfortunately, he couldn't put it in the back of the net. He had the time and space to do so, though.
Collison to Rawson. Chuck Rawson, the sophomore from Ontario, hands it off to Collison. Ontario to Ontario is now Bauer. Utah native throws it back up to Rawson. Now it's Brooks English looking to make a move around John King. Can't quite. Back pedals, gets it down low to Bauer. Ross knocks that one free from Bauer, picks up the ground ball. And now finds John King. King into the attacking third for Penn State, gives it to Traynor. That Traynor trying to go to work against Scott Smith. Smith against Traynor. Traynor has to backpedal into the midfield area. Jack Amo, Rutgers transfer. It's to Luke Wallstrom. Lehman. It's a screen set for him. But Quentin Kilrain came and made up for it. So now Lehman. Back behind the net. Lehman. 33 to go on the shot clock. Nowhere really for Kyle Lehman to go here. Quentin Kilrain. And now he's pushed down and turns it over to Oren Jelinas.
That was just great defense there from Hopkins. Kilrain, the sophomore out of the Lawrenceville school. Freshman year was at Culver Academy, left with John Posner when Posner took the job at Lawrenceville. And 5 other guys from Lawrenceville on this Hopkins squad. It's a top 5 program in the country most years now that Posner's there. Excellent coach. Excellent staff. Posner's been fielding calls here recently because he's got a lot of former Culver players that may be drafted, including Brooks English's 2 brothers, Ty and Sam.
Well, Penn State has possession and a timeout called after the turnover goes the way of the Nittany Lions. Hopkins leads it. A packed house for the Big Ten tournament quarterfinal here at Panzer Stadium. The blue and white, both shades of it, showing up on this beautiful Saturday, April in State College. Justin Chevalella, Hayden Lewis, and Hayden just noted in that break that it is yet another lengthy streak that Johns Hopkins not allowing their opponents to score 22 times this season. They have held opponents scoreless for 10+ minutes. You can mark it now 23 with this current scoreless stretch for the Nittany Lions that Matt Traynor looks to end, but a good recovery that time from Quentin Kilrain negates that chance for Penn State. Center with it, Jack Monfort. 3:30 to go in this first half. After 9 goals in the first quarter, just 2 in this second, both of which have been scored by the Blue Jays. Looking for an upset victory, 6 seed over the 3 seed. As Eric Chick has a goal in the contest. Finds Collison, who finds Bauer. Now Chick. Talk about that lengthy scoring stretch, that drought for Penn State. A lot of it has been spent down here in their attacking side. As Chick meets King, ball free, picked up by Chick. A lot of contact.
It's a hold on King, resets the clock.
Resets it back up to 60, so even more time for the Blue Jays to use in their favor. Collison against Ross, tried a shot that was really never had a chance because of how close Ross was to him, and good hustle that time on the far sideline gives Penn State the possession.
That's a juice play there from Ryan O'Connor. That's something that can shift the momentum in a quarter where everything's seemingly gone wrong and against you if you're Penn State. That's a huge run out that he just won right there.
Brendan Leary. Leary gives it to Long. Long to Lehman. It's Long that scored the first goal of this contest relatively quick into that first quarter. The man up.
A player we haven't seen all day is Hunter Aquino. Big Ten Freshman of the Year, all Big Ten freshman team. He's a guy that could be an All-American at the end of the season. He hasn't played. He's got a leg sleeve on his right leg, missed a ton of practice early in the Big Ten season because of an injury, but has played in every game.
Lehman to Amon, and Amon buries it to tie up the contest. Jack Amon gets the tally, and the Nittany Lions break their scoreless drought. 18th goal of the season. Lone season here in Happy Valley for Amon.
Great job by Lehman getting into the stick of Kilrain, and Amon just beats his guy. It's a perfect pass from Lehman, and Amon right there. Interesting fall there. He's battled lower body injuries in the past. Seems fine, but it's a huge one for Penn State. It starts with the O'Connor runout, though. O'Connor wins a runout, ensuing offensive possession for Penn State. They score a goal. It's the little momentum plays that can really turn the tide here in the playoffs.
First goal for the Nittany Lions since 3 seconds left in the first is now Baldwin, wins the faceoff, takes it himself, and that one hits off the top iron. Good strip that time now as Hopkins was looking to clear. Penn State suffocating right now. We talk about that Ryan O'Connor play, and that has certainly rejuvenated the Nittany Lions and their fans. And now with 1:15 to go, they can hold till just about when they scored at the end of the first quarter as well.
Yeah, 3-second difference here in the shot and game clock. Penn State will likely elect to wait and drain it down to about 25 seconds on the shot clock, maybe a little bit more before they get into their look.
Now it's Long just sitting right in front of the Hopkins bench, in front of Pete Milliman's squad, and in his 5th season with the Blue Jays, for some more Big Ten tournament success. He's tied right now with Jeff Tambroni's squad. Long continues to wait as the game clock's down to 30 seconds, shot clock down to 27. Long now goes to make a move. Long. Skip pass over to Amon. Amon scoops it off the ground. Back out there is good play that time from Scott Smith, but a timeout called for the Nittany Lions while they still had possession. So Nittany Lions just tight, looking for the go-ahead goal right before half. They have the timeout called. Final 3 minutes or so. The Nittany Lions got 2 goals to tie the game and then take the lead, with Kyle Lehman standing as the go-ahead goal at the moment. Colby Baldwin takes the face-off here against Logan Callahan. It's been a good day at the dot so far for Baldwin, as this ball is still free now on the Penn State attacking side, and it's going to go the way of Johns Hopkins. No, the way of Penn State, calling it a push. So Liam Matthews picks it up for the Nittany Lions. Underway. Nittany Lions moving left to right. Chrome helmets, home white uniforms with blue letters and numbers to go along with some blue shorts today. It's Matt Traynor, 2 goals. Looking for another hat trick in his illustrious Penn State career. Lehman getting pushed and met by Scott Smith. A lot better performance today against Traynor for the Blue Jays. Specifically Scott Smith as well, who has followed Traynor everywhere. Wallstrom. Now Lehman. Lehman right out in front. It was Matthews getting a shot off. Save made by Jelinas. A little bit of a cluster out in front of Orange Jelinas, but stayed with it and gets himself another save.
That quick stick for Matthews, and it's something that Coach Jambroni's talked a lot about. He wants to get Matthews on the field in those inside looks because he's got industrial-sized, dumpster-level, filthy hands. Like, they are nasty. It's the Canadian box game that he played. He's great inside. You saw it there. That ball was in his stick for less than 1/10 of a second.
Couldn't quite come away with the goal that time. So now it's Hopkins and Chuck Rawson. Collison again scored his 100th career point. Coming on goal earlier in the contest, his 20th of the season, 69th of his career with the Blue Jays. Collison looking for a feed out in front to English, but it was deflected out of play, and it goes the way of Charlie Eiler and the Blue Jays. Just about 2 minutes gone here in the second half. Winner goes to take on number 2 Maryland in Ann Arbor on Thursday in the Big 10 tournament semifinals. Championship to follow on Saturday. As that one hits off the iron. Shot that time from Eiler. Picked up off the ground that time from Rawson on the far side, and got a stoppage of play. Referees heading over to the table. Not exactly sure. This could be shot clock related. It is. So they will not reset. It did not get the iron or Frassian. So just 9 seconds left on the shot clock here for Johns Hopkins. Chuck Rawson met by Kyle Aldridge. Tough physical battle all day. Behind the back pass, just looking for something, and never got on to Brooks English. And a push, though, called against the Nittany Lions. So it will stay with the Blue Jays, and it resets the shot clock for a minute.
Hopkins full on had defensive personnel. Patrick Deans, the LSM, came on the field, was hovering around the midline, expecting there to not really be a chance for the offense, but a push from Parnham gives him a fresh 60. So he's back off the field, and they're rolling that first midfield unit again.
This is relatively similar to how Hopkins used their possession time back in that second quarter. Not looking for the quick shots, just looking for the right shot. And in the time, they keep the ball out of the hands of the formidable force that is the Penn State offense. It's Collison. Now Eiler. Eiler in on Frassian. Save made. Rawson gets the rebound. His shot goes through the crease. Collison now with it. Gives it up top to Chauvet. Wild sequence there. Penn State survives for now, but Eiler looking to change fortunes. That shot goes well out. Kyle Aldridge chases it down for Penn State. Good defensive possession that time for the Nittany Lions. to keep their 1-goal lead.
Right here, that's a great job getting inside there from Eiler. A better save, though, from Frasian, who makes it with the chest protector. And then Penn State's defense did a great job of collapsing in on the other looks. Those great crease collapses from the defense to prevent any loose change pickups in front.
Probably tell here on your screen, it has really gotten sunny at Panzer Stadium. A day that started with rain turned to gray clouds, and the sun is doing everything in its power to make the rest of this afternoon a beautiful one in State College. Penn State's blue-white game, football spring game, set to kick off at 2 o'clock over at Beaver Stadium right up the hill. But for now, Penn State and Johns Hopkins battle for a spot in the Final Four left in the Big Ten this season. Nittany Lions finished 9-3 overall in the regular season, 3-2 in conference play. Hopkins 6-7, didn't pick up a win in their 5 tries in Big Ten play. Trainer with it. Trainer wraparound and the back shot again. It was saved by Jelinas, picked up by Lehman, but can't quite get command of that ball as it goes out. Haven't called Matt Trainer's name as much as we had 2 weeks ago. These two faced on another nice Saturday in Happy Valley.
Orange Linus has almost made himself a 7th defender, which goalies are allowed to do. If you trust your goalie, you trust his athletic ability and his instincts defensively, they can become a 7th defender. Multiple times in this game, Jelinas has made great plays outside of his cage to help out his defense.
Jelinas doing everything he can to will the Blue Jays on to the next round and see if they could make a potential push. It's at X, it's Eiler. Eiler feeds up top, that one hits off the iron. It was Eric Chick with the shot that time. It will stay with the Blue Jays. 4 bodies hit the ground, diving to be the closest and the one backing it up, but they say it was the Blue Jays there.
Yeah, good run out by Carlson. Looked like Perry DeBartolomeo had him beat by half an inch, but it's closest to where the ball goes out of bounds, and relative to the ball, Carlson was the closest.
Burke beat DeBartolomeo that time, ended up just feeding it down low to Charlie Eiler. We talk about Hopkins looking to extend their season right now with the way things are. Johns Hopkins not in position to earn an at-large bid, so looking for that auto qualifier to the NCAA dance. By winning the conference, they can go on a run like they did a couple years ago, but finish the job this time around. As Chick moves in on Frasian, that shot. They got a piece of the iron again. Backed up by Liam Burke.
They're saying Parnham won the race now, or maybe it was a crease. Didn't quite see the call in the field, but Penn State's ball. The thing to note with Hopkins, they're 16th in RPI. If you're a hockey fan, that's similar to the pairwise ranking system, but a strong RPI helps you out in the long run. If Hopkins can win a couple games, they may get an at-large bid. Penn State, 5th in the RPI, much more secure. A win would pretty much solidify them as a top 8 team that would host in the first round of the tournament, but a loss could shake that up, put them in that 8-9 area where they're kind of unsure what the future holds. One last game at Panzer, or are they on the road for the rest of the year?
16-team postseason format. The Lions to 7-6 lead. So we are scoreless so far in the second half as Matthews right out in front changes it. Good feed from Wallstrom, finds Liam Matthews right in front of Jelinas, and Liam Matthews buries it for his 17th goal.
And that right there is why 51 always finds himself in the rotation on offense, whether it's out of the box as a midfielder or down low at attack. He's just so crafty inside. He knows how to find space, and he doesn't need much space to put it in the back of the net. He was named to the All Big 10 freshman team this year, redshirt freshman out of Ontario, played at the Hill School for Brody Merrill, most career games in professional lacrosse, a very, very tenured and known player in the lacrosse community.
So Nittany Lions get the first goal of the second half. They've got a 2-goal advantage. The Big 10 tournament quarterfinal at Panzer Stadium. Violation that time on Colby Baldwin, so Johns Hopkins gets possession. Charlie Eiler will allow for the substitutions to come on. Gives it to one of them in Dylan Bauer. or one of the captains for Johns Hopkins, alongside Patrick Deans and Scott Smith. Long-tenured members of this team, as Bauer finds Rawson. Rawson, Chauvette, top corner, score! Hunter Chauvette beats Jack Frassian, and Johns Hopkins has an answer for the Nittany Lions.
That is Hunter Chauvette summed up in a 3-second, little simple game for him. You watch it here. He's hovering around the top of the box, sees some space from Aldridge. Doesn't need much space, just like Matthews. Low to high, perfectly off stick into that top right corner. And down there on the sideline, Grayson Johns, their videographer, had the perfect shot of it. So you'll be seeing it clipped somewhere later today, this afternoon. That's an unbelievable shot from one of the best pure shooters in the country.
Hunter Chauvette's second goal of the game, 23rd of the season. Reed Gills was there to take face-off for Penn State. Violation on Callahan this time. Gives Penn State the possession. Right to Rocco. Rocco makes a move. Looking for the pass here. Kyle Lehman. Quentin Kilrain on him. Lehman sends his man to the ground, and he gets the goal to go with it. Kyle Lehman with the quarterfinal hat trick, and the Nittany Lions extend their lead right back up to 2.
5-star recruit coming out of high school, was number 7 overall at one point, was listed inside the top 10 for most of the time in his tenure in that recruiting class. Kyle Lehman's a guy that has slowly continued to get better as he steps on the field. Game after game, you're seeing a growth right there to Chico. Unfortunate. Trip on your own feet, taking the pick, trying to get around it. But there, again, Penn State, once they're top players against those shorties, then they're going to take advantage when they can.
Faceoff found its way to Matt Trainer. The Lions lead by 2 with 7 minutes to go, as their athletic director, Pat Kraft, watches on from their sideline. To be happy with what this Nittany Lion lacrosse team has been able to do. Lehman, right off his 3rd goal. It's Wallstrom, now long with a lot of space, and the shot goes high. We have Matthews there to back it up for the Nittany Lions. Not the first time Penn State and Johns Hopkins have met in the Big 10 tournament, and I don't just mean in history, I mean this year, as it was the Johns Hopkins women's lacrosse team getting the best of the Nittany Lions women's lacrosse team earlier this week. Moving on to the semifinals, where they took a tough loss last night against Northwestern, lost by just 1 goal to the powerhouse of women's lacrosse. Penn State men's lacrosse right now in the lead.
I'll tell you right now, in women's lacrosse, watch out for the Humphrey sisters on UNC, and then also Boston College, a wagon once again this year. Those are 2 teams out of the ACC that I think could go all the way.
Should be a fun end to the women's lacrosse season as well as the men's lacrosse season, as Trainer's shot kind of weakly put on to Jelinas. Good, strong defense made that a weak shot.
It's Scott Smith again, who's been excellent. He's a guy, him and Trainer are 2 players where they're hovering around on draft boards from Paul Carcaterra and Adam Lamberti, where they could both, one of the 2, go to the Utah Archers, where Penn State legends Grant Ament and Matt O'Keefe are currently. Trainer pairing up with those guys as a spot shooter would get a lot of feeds from Ament, but Smith, an unbelievable pull. He's very physical, very strong, and that rep got right into the wrist area of Trainer, which is his strength when he shoots. He's got real snappy wrists, which allow him to get so much power on the shot.
Now the Blue Jays for an answer, trailing by 2. 5:21 to go in this 3rd quarter. Allison finds Chauvette, couldn't rip it right away, passed it off to Brooks English. English, his pass to Rawson was on the ground. Rawson got there before King could. Now up top with it, Chauvette. Bauer, spin dodge that time, but quickly met by the 2nd line of defense in Brendan Leary. Leary gives Bauer a shove, looking for the pass. It Finds a man, but couldn't control it, was English, and heading the other way with it, Will Costin. Costin gives it to Trainer. Trainer, pass across to King. King to Lehman. Kyle Lehman will settle things down as Quentin Kilrain took away his lane. It's been a really nice start to the career of Quentin Kilrain, the sophomore from Virginia, another Lawrenceville guy.
His footwork, it's unbelievable. And as a lefty, he really just dominates that side of the field for the Blue Jays. Started last year, locked down TJ Malone at Homewood.
Now Peden in on Jelinas, and he gets a goal. Will Peden just unevaded right to the net. 5th goal of the season for the senior, and Penn State's leads up to 3.
It worked right by Cole Moon, just right down the alley, gets underneath the close checking short stick defensive midfielder. Hands were free for days there and puts it right by Jelinas. You see it here again in the...
Have it. For just a third of the third quarter left. 4:11 to go as Baldwin and Callahan set up. Been a battle there at the face-off dot that Baldwin has controlled. Has won 11 of the 17 that he's taken. Callahan has won just 5 of the 16 he has. Baldwin came into the day 18th in the nation in face-off percentage at 57.5. Callahan 8th best in the nation at 62.1. And it's another one that goes in favor of the Nittany Lions, or rather Hopkins comes and grabs it off the turf. Callahan want to pick up the ground ball. He turns it over. Good play, Aldridge. Aldridge finds Lehman. Lehman back to Aldridge. Aldridge spins, stops.
Late whistle here. It's going to be a foul on Baldwin, I believe, for the hit on Callahan. It's a very late whistle, so you'll see it here. Opening face-off. It's a great ground ball by Luca DiBartolomeo right here. Picks it up out of midair. Then Smith checks that free, picked back up by Callahan. Great help from Costin from the restraining box, and you see Parnham, everybody else in, but it's that hit right there. Draws the flag. May have been offsides as well. There were a few too many bodies over, waiting on the official word on it, but
it is 1 minute, pardon me.
Yeah, so
man
that
up for Hopkins. Unnecessary roughness to call on Colby Baldwin. So he took away what looked to be a quick and good possession for the Nittany Lions. Late whistle stopped Kyle Aldridge from taking a rip or either giving it to Matt Trainer. Now Hopkins is to cut into Penn State's 3-goal lead. Hunter Chauvette. Crossing to Eiler. Eiler working from X. Passed up to Eric Chick. There was a stick in the way that time from Ryan O'Connor. Ground ball scooped right back up from the Blue Jays and Hunter Chauvette. Rather, it was Rawson that picked it up. Now Chick makes a move around. Nice one around Will Peden, but his shot too tough that time from the angle his arm came around and up and over. A little swim move that time for Costin.
5 to go here on this man up.
Chauvette. Chick as time expires on the man up. It's Eiler. Back to even. Dower. Brendan Leary the one to come off. The Lion fans get loud. The applause that time. Man up kill. 8 seconds to go on the shot clock, and a good play that time from Kevin Parnham. Parnham calls the turnover. Picks it up, takes it down the length of the field. Kyle Lehman slowed things down again from the near sideline.
Parham's had another excellent game here for Penn State. The numbers aren't too great. He's had a couple mistakes defensively, but he's a guy mocked 23rd overall by Kevin Brown of Inside Lacrosse in terms of prospect rankings. From Adam Liberti, 32nd and 6th positionally. He's a guy, he could hear his name called late in the 4th round on draft day.
Draft day happening right now in the NFL is Amon. His pass that time to Long goes on the turf, scooped up by Wallstrom. Wallstrom to Trainer. Trainer with room, his shot sails wide just to finish that point. 3 Nittany Lions already off the board in the NFL draft. Nittany Lions expecting a couple more to go as the final 4 rounds, 4 through 7, underway right now. Again, the spring game for the Nittany Lions up the hill at Beaver. Amo with space. Leg save made by Jelinas. Good kick that time from the netminder. Ball still free, and the Penn State logo. Lots of contact and stoppage of play now. It's going to be Penn State's ball.
Yeah, it's a procedure call there on Hopkins. Resets the clock as well. You see it. Nice little battle. Here's the Colby Baldwin unnecessary roughness penalty again. And Aldridge's a guy, 3 goals on the season, multiple goals in every campaign as short stick D midi. Another one of those guys. Could be drafted this year. Most likely won't be. Aldridge's the 6th ranked short stick D midi in this year's class. A few teams looking for defensive midfielders. Most likely being called up as a free agent, but another guy to watch out for on May 6th.
Showed that Baldwin hit right after talking about the NFL. That would be a linebacker coach's dream if your linebackers are tackling like that. It's now Long. Finds Matthews. Matthews taking to the turf, trying to keep possession. Still a battle for it. Lehman will pick up the ground ball for the Nittany Lions. 15 on the shot clock. Gives it to Matthews. Matthews up top. Amon. His shot scores! Jack Amon nets his 2nd of the contest, and Penn State is starting to pull away. It's a 4-goal advantage late in the 3rd. Kept that one on the ground.
And it's Lehman and Matthews going to work again. They've been working the 2-man game down low on this lefty wing all day. Matthews gets the feed from Lehman, then works it up top. Another bouncer working by Warren Jelinas. Off stick, off hip again. That's where to beat Jelinas. Penn State's looking to shoot it off his left hip because his stick side is the right-handed side. He's a right-handed netminder, so they know where they want to put this ball past him. It's whether or not they hit their spots. And that's part of the reason why they have 3 losses on the season. Bad shooting. And they've talked about it. Ohio State, Caleb Fyock's going to steal a few a game. Coach Tambroni noted it, but they didn't think they shot the ball well. Against Princeton, 22 saves in that game for their netminder. It was another game where Penn State thought they had a ton of great looks. They just didn't shoot it well.
Right now their shots have them 4-goal advantage, though 12 have been saved. This Long's bounce shot that time goes wide, 8.7 left here in the 3rd quarter. Lehman restarts it for the Nittany Lions, gets a screen that time from King. Lehman finds Matthews behind the back, can't put it in. And there's 2.2 left as King picks it up. Gonna need something quick, but nothing out in front as he was looking for the pass to Matt Traynor. And the period expires with the Nittany Lions humming. Hayden, they've got a 4-goal advantage.
Almost 5 off the around the world there for Matthews. Unbelievable inside.
3-seeded Penn State leads 6-seeded Johns Hopkins 11-7 as we head to the 4th quarter in the Big 10 tournament quarterfinal matchup here on Big 10 Plus.
Just moving the ball and taking good shots. It wasn't 4 shots like we were seeing for the beginning of the game, and really in the 2nd quarter, though. It's just they didn't have the ball that much. This is the Penn State offense that Jeff Tambroni's come to expect, but when they get to their spots, they're very dangerous. Their one issue is shot selection and placement.
Ball still free from the opening face-off here at the 4th, and it's eventually picked up by Quentin Kilrain. He just keeps it in bounds, and Ross finally gets a hold of it, gets it to Frasian. Much to the pleasure of this Penn State crowd. You see Frasian on your screen. First a stoppage. Not quite.
Far side ref blew it down. They were counting numbers, not quite sure what they're pointing at. I think everything's going to clear up here. It's going to be Penn State ball on the clear once again. But that was a great goose from Kilrain off the ground. He's unbelievable off the ground. Him and Smith will both take runs at the wing off the face-off whenever Deans is tired or Tyler I needs a break. They'll mix it up because they have so many good players off the ground.
Frasian back to that point. 7 goals allowed, 7 saves. When Jelinas begins the 4th quarter rather, with 11 goals allowed and 12 saves. Wallstrom takes his time on the far side, right in front of the Hopkins scratches. It's Kyle Lehman. Lehman makes a nice move there to try to get Quentin Kilrain off of him. Can't quite. Gives it to Traynor. Traynor finds Amon. Amon, his shot. That one well wide. Wallstrom there backing it up for the Nittany Lions. A senior in Wallstrom coming off a 2-goal performance versus Rutgers on a 7-game point streak. make it 8. He's got 3 assists. And now Traynor looking for a third goal. He can't get it. Jelinas with his 13th save. And Hopkins pushing the pace the other way. Patrick Dean slowed it down right at midfield. Gave it off to Scott Smith. And Smith gives it to Jack Monfort, former Yale Bulldog. Back to the regular offensive pieces here for the Blue Jays.
Yale and Penn State played an all-timer last year here at Panzer Stadium during spring break. Overtime game, Penn State, the eventual winner. TJ Malone, 9 points in that game.
So right now it's Dylan Bauer, Jack Monfort, who played for Yale in that one. 4 ground balls and 2 turnovers against Penn State in that all-time classic. It's Collison. Slowed down since his hot first quarter. Dylan Bauer. Bauer. His shot, save made by Frasian. 8th save of the contest for Penn State's senior goalie. And now John King, quick the other way. King in the attacking side. Gives it to Matt Traynor, and Traynor will slow things down. Long, taking his time. Midfield. Traynor. Play a little catch now over to Ryan DeRocco, the Army transfer.
Fun little nugget on John King. His dad, Jeff King, played at Hobart with Jeff Tambroni back in the early 1990s.
If you want to talk about coaching relationships here, as that one goes in favor of Johns Hopkins. Penn State's offensive assistant coach, offensive coordinator John Haas, his father, spent a couple years as the head coach here with Johns Hopkins.
Of course, Coach Haas himself, a Maryland Terrapin in his playing days, also played for the United States, won a gold medal, but a little family competition there. You got a Hopkins coach and a Maryland Sun player. It's an interesting battle when those two teams scrap it out at the end of the Big 10 season every year.
Forget to mention that Tambroni and Milliman, the 2 head coaches, have both spent time at Cornell in their coaching careers. Eric Chick is down low to Charlie Eiler. It's Peter Milliman's squad. Looking to chip away at Penn State's lead. It's Liam Burke. Burke been a lot more involved here in the second meeting between these 2 sides. Burke takes a rip, bounces it in. Looked like Frasian had the original read, but Liam Burke bounces it by him. And Johns Hopkins cuts their deficit down to 3.
The shift from the end of the second quarter through the third quarter was a run-out 1 by Ryan O'Connor for Penn State. After that, they scored a couple goals, took the lead in the half, and they've built on the momentum since then. Hopkins just got a magnificent save from Jelinas in tight on Traynor, and then he won a run out. They come down, they score. High bouncers go once again. Young kids sitting at home. If you learn how to shoot the high bouncer, you're going to score a lot of goals. But it's the little plays in playoff lacrosse that go a long way. They're not things that are going to be tracked on a stat sheet. You're not getting tracked for winning a run out. But your coaches and teammates recognize what you've done. They feel the juice you're giving your team.
Liam Burke came into the contest with just 2 points in his freshman year. A goal last week against Maryland, a goal right before he visited Penn State against Michigan. He's got a 3-point performance here in his first postseason action at the collegiate level. A goal and 2 assists for Liam Burke. He's given the honor of the number 19 jersey with Johns Hopkins, and the freshman from New York. He's played a solid freshman season, and what he's done today is certainly to have Johns Hopkins, Peter Milliman, and the fans all excited to see what he can do throughout the rest of his tenure with the Blue Jays. Potentially what he could do the rest of the way in this contest to help Johns Hopkins out to comeback. Just about 10 minutes left. Hopkins needs 3. John King looks to intercept that pass, and he does so. And he's about to get pushed out by Chuck Rawson, just throws one towards Frasian and Barnum, and the Nittany Lions come away with it. Peden out of King. Taken down at midfield stripe was Will Peden, and flags fly. sorry, that's Will Costin. That was the one taken down at midfield.
That push in the back there looked like Collison. He'll probably head over there to the sideline, serve some time. Looking like just a technical called there from the officiating crew. Gonna be a push in the back, 30 seconds on Collison. So Penn State gonna have to work a quick man up here. A thing to note with that 19 number, Penn State obviously the number 11 and 16 big for their program. For Hopkins, the number 19 was assigned to Jeremy Huber in the fall of 2014, less than 2 weeks prior to the start of what would have been his freshman season in 2015. He passed away suddenly from complications of pneumonia. Nobody wore the number until 2019, and since then it's been dished out, except for 2021, nobody wore it. Burke, honorary freshman who gets to wear that number. That's important to the Hopkins community.
He's lived up to that honor in his freshman year. As now, it's Penn State. Lehman! Oh my goodness! Falling down, turning around, Kyle Lehman with his 4th goal here in the quarterfinal of the Big 10 tournament. Wow.
He had 5 against Yale up in New Haven back in March, and it was an explosive game for him there. That was the game Matt Traynor got injured in and actually didn't complete the game. Didn't play the next week against Cornell, the number 1 team in the country. Penn State beat him, but right there, Kyle Lehman, it's beautiful ball movement across the box, the entire man up for Penn State. Then he gets it on that far lefty wing side, down low, close to the crease, contorted his body, which just shows the core strength you need as an attackman if you want to go to the crease like that. Unbelievable finish from the sophomore.
Now Penn State leads 12-8. Any combined goals between these two sides. Still 9 minutes to go in the contest. Again, winner goes to play number 2 Maryland on Thursday up in Ann Arbor. The winner of that game will head on to Big 10 tournament final. Liam Burke gonna work around Aldridge. He does so, and Burke buries it. Liam Burke with back-to-back goals for Hopkins, and now a 4-point performance for the freshman.
Liam Burke has been excellent. You see him there working Aldridge, gets that right hand free for the jumper. Almost a moving screen there from Parham coming across the face of Frasian, which forces him to react late, which is why he can't catch up to that shot. But Burke's a guy that plays the wing on faceoffs, picks up a ton of ground balls, plays all the time. Here's the Lehman goal from before. You see him contort his body, working away from Smith to put that stick side low on Jelinas. But Burke's a guy that's just been all over the field, all over the stat sheet today. And if he continues to grow throughout the playoffs, if Hopkins wins this game, he's a guy that can take over and be a big-time player down the stretch. They lose here, their season's ultimately pretty much done, 99% I'd say, but he's a guy going into next year you really like, and he's similar to that of Patrick Hackler, one of the captains of this Hopkins team. Went down with an ACL injury a few weeks ago, was a captain at Yale, and when he stepped onto Yale's campus at his freshman year, people told head coach Andy Shea that he would be a future captain of his team. Lo and behold, captain at Yale, now a captain here at Hopkins as well.
Hopkins right back with possession. Still plenty of time in this contest. Make a comeback. Right now it's being carried by the freshman in Liam Burke. Now Dylan Bauer. Bauer to Charlie Eiler. Eiler working on Parham. Sent down to the ground. Ball comes free, and it's picked up by Kevin Parham. Really solid day for Kevin Parham, causing another turnover. And now Parham, late shove that time from Bauer. King with it in midfield. Just over 7 minutes left. Penn State seeks advancement in the Big 10 tournament. And that will help them in terms of their position in the Big Dance. That's the NCAA tournament. Long, taking time. This is where you're probably going to see Penn Penn State took a lot of the shot clock, but Long goes in and he buries it. Top corner past Jelinas. Ethan Long, his second goal of the contest, had the first one for the Nittany Lions, and now he has the 13th one, and the Nittany Lions lead 13-9.
That was an unbelievable shot from Long coming up the hash there. Off stick once again. Penn State continuing to shoot off stick on Warren Jelinas. It's what they didn't do against Princeton, against Ohio State, and against Maryland. You got Ryan Croddick, Logan McNaney, and Caleb Fyock, those three netminers who are all unbelievable. They couldn't solve them because they kept shooting stick side, but they've learned, they've studied, they've watched the film, and they know we have great shooters on this team this year. They can do a lot of great things for us, but they've got to shoot off stick on these goalies, shoot to where their weaknesses are.
Violation that time, the face-off. Jack Monfort, Callahan the win, and Monfort the ball for Johns Hopkins. You mentioned Caleb Fyock, probably watching the other quarterfinal game at the moment. Michigan and Rutgers, 4-seeded Wolverines, 5-seeded Scarlet Knights, currently tied at 5. Still plenty of time left in the opening half of that contest.
Two excellent goalies in that game too, Hunter Taylor and Carden Stoller. Stoller played very, very good in his second campaign for Rutgers.
As now Chick moves in. Chick finds Ayers, and Ayers finds the bottom corner on Frasian. Jimmy Ayers with his 8th goal this season. And Johns Hopkins not going away just yet.
And it's another great feed after working the ball down low. Hopkins able to work off ball once again. This time it's Ayers, but Penn State's defense, they love to collapse down low. They love to try and force turnovers. They're top 10 in the nation in caused turnovers per game, the best in the conference almost. But right there, it's another late slide from the defense because too many bodies collapsed in tight. Ayers doesn't need much space like many of the Hopkins players on the offensive side of the field, and he buries that one.
He's off that time for Penn State and made a switch the way of Johns Hopkins.
Baldwin is on the sideline, has his stick. Mullins, a guy who hasn't really taken many faceoffs, was the #1 faceoff recruit in the class of 21, went to UNC, didn't win that job, transferred here to Penn State, was back and forth with Baldwin for a couple seasons, but now has seemingly become the third man with freshman Reed Gills working his way in the lineup behind Baldwin.
Reed Gills had that really nice performance, winning 8 of 9 against Michigan, earning himself a place on the National Team of the Week, as Penn State was able to come from behind against the Wolverines. Jimmy Ayers, fresh off his goal, working against DeBartolomeo, passes it off up top to Bauer. Bauer to Chick. Chick moves in, looking for a feed out in front for Collison. It's on the turf. Collison picks it right back up. Collison, his pass, deflects. Chick ends up finding a pass that time to Eiler. Flag flies. As now that pass is picked off by Will Costin. We will figure out exact ruling on the flags that flew right in front of Jack Frasian. Looks like it'll be on Penn State.
See it again out front.
It's on John King.
Maybe Luca DeBartolomeo, who's stationed there right now in the send bin.
It is Luca DeBartolomeo sitting down for a minute.
Saw one of those checks come a little bit high. Maybe just got the wrong guy. It really should be John King who got his stick up high. Just picked the wrong number. 16, Parnham was down on the ground, so confused 16 with 18, and it was really 33.
It's now 16 for Johns Hopkins, which is Collison took a shot that ricocheted off the leg of a Penn State defender. Man up opportunity. Good chance for Hopkins to cut this lead down to 2. Collison off to English. English back to Collison. He buries it. Matt Collison from way downtown, and Johns Hopkins has cut into the lead of Penn State. It's a 2-goal game with 4:15 to go.
And it's really interesting to see Johns Hopkins scoring and being so efficient offensively in a game where Collison really hasn't had his fair share of touches. He spent a lot of time around the crease playing kind of a crease attack role rather than getting the ball on the lefty wing where he can operate and kind of take over. That's what they did in the first quarter. They got him the ball a ton. In the second quarter as well, they were getting him the ball. But here in the second half, he hasn't had as many touches, but they're still scoring goals, which is huge for Hopkins, but they need to keep 16 involved if they want to claw all the way back into this one.
Baldwin back out at the face-off for Penn State. Still a battle for it. Loose in the midfield, rolling towards the Penn State attacking side. And that one is going to be picked up by Johns Hopkins. So Hopkins is cut into the deficit that they had. It's just a 2-goal game with 4 minutes to go, and Hopkins with possession. Quentin Kilrain in midfield getting swarmed by a trio of Nittany Lions. There's Leary, Lehman, and King. As now Chuck Rawson slows down the pace and lets the Blue Jays set up. It's been a completely different Johns Hopkins team than was seen 2 weeks ago as John King strips this one free. It's on the turf, still a battle. Trying to pick it up, Rawson. Collison there to help, and Collison has it. Ross trying to poke it free. Collison gets it across. That's Brooks English. English to Eiler. 30 on the shot clock. English pushes in. Now it's Eiler at X. Eiler waits. Parnham trying to stop him. Eiler pushes out towards the near side boundary. 15 to go on the shot clock. Eiler up top now, English. English to Chauvette. Chauvette back to English. English to Rawson. Rawson scores! And it's a 1-goal game in the Big Ten tournament quarterfinal. Chuck Rawson buries that one. Off-balance shot. And 2:51 left to go. Hopkins has clawed all the way back.
It's a great cut there from Rawson, working down low from GLE, gets up top side, catches it on the run, jumps, fading away from the goal, bounces one by Frasian, forcing a timeout on the field from Penn State. But this Hopkins offense, this is one of their best performances. Since 2022, they are 28-6 when they score 12 or more goals. We'll see what that number comes to at the end of the game, Justin.
Undefeated on April 26th, and Johns Hopkins is looking for the come-from-behind victory. 13-12, Penn State leads. Time starting to expire here on Big 10 Plus. Back on March 15th. They've only scored double digits once since then. It was a loss to Ohio State, 14-10. And a big reason why they've been able to have so much success today is Chuck Rawson, who has now started 5 consecutive games for Johns Hopkins, and over that stretch aided 7 goals, 4 assists, and 11 total points as Johns Hopkins comes away with possession off the faceoff.
Logan Callahan starting to get hot too. That's a big thing for Hopkins. It can be make it, take it in lacrosse. It's a game of runs. If you have a face-off guy that's heating up, they can completely turn the tide.
150 seconds remain. The first game of the Big Ten tournament. Chuck Rawson, 5 points today. Rawson feeds it, and that shot from English goes well to the sideline. Closest to it, Collison, so possession maintained by the Blue Jays.
Just a note, Callahan and Hopkins have won 7 of the 8 face-offs in this fourth quarter. Complete domination right now.
Possession started to favor the Blue Jays when it's mattered most. Trailing by as many as 4. It's just a 1-goal game, and it's Matt Collison with possession against Alex Ross. Passes it up top, Hunter Chauvette. Chauvette to English. English, a couple yards away from Parnham. Now it's Chuck Rawson. Rawson working around Aldridge. He's pushed down. Ball comes free. It's picked up by Costin. Will Costin. Pass behind him to Aldridge. It's down in the turf, but nobody around to contest.
They're going to blow the whistle on the field. Chuck Rawson, he's banged up. It's something lower body. It was when he was running across the top of the box there, sweeping across, came up hobbled, being helped to the sideline now. You'll see it almost looks like a hyperextension right there when he planted. Something in that right leg, immediately went to grab it. He's walking off now with the training staff. That's a guy, Hopkins wins this game, they need him down the stretch. He's proven it, right? 11 points in the last 5 starts. He's got 5 points here today, this afternoon, against an excellent Penn State defense. He's walking off under his own power a little bit better now, but that's not something you want to see if you're Hopkins and Pete Millman on that sideline. It's a very important, another one of those Lawrenceville guys.
Training staff helps Rawson off, who's jogging on the far sideline. Matt Traynor has possession for Penn State. 95 seconds remain. Traynor has 75 on the shot clock, so Penn State can take this down to about the final 20 seconds of the contest. Jelinas abandons net.
They're trying to double the ball. Every single time somebody has it, it's going to be a double team. Hopkins trying to force a turnover here.
Right now the double's on Ethan Long. Long had the first and the 13th goals, and now he loses it in the midfield. Somehow manages to get it back, and now a flag flies. Lehman comes away with it. Penn State will go man up. 60 seconds to go. And that may have just sealed it for the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, that flag, it pretty much seals it. There's 2 down. Both refs saw something there, but Penn State can just kill the rest of the shot clock here. 30 seconds on it, and then kill the rest of the man up. 6v5. Hopkins going to go back to the double team here, try and force a turnover. Get a chance maybe, but we'll see.
Jack Amon, he's going to take the shot at the empty net, and it hits off the iron. Shot clock resets. Traynor looking to pick it up, and Johns Hopkins will, and flags down, so a stoppage.
That's almost better for Penn State, and I say that because of where the faceoffs are in this quarter. Logan Callahan has won 8 of the 9, or 7 of the 8, apologies. So there's the foul there. It's coming right there. A slash from Smith right off the cross, or right off the dome there of Ethan Long, but Jack Amon hitting the post right there potentially saves Penn State. They score a goal, there's no man up. Callahan wins a faceoff, they go down, score quick, he wins another, they score again, it's a tie game again. So that's really the most fortunate bounce of the season for Penn State up to this point.
Johns Hopkins, Peter Milliman, he will take a timeout. Nittany Lions lead by 1, 27 seconds to go. An exciting end to the Big 10 tournament quarterfinal coming up here on Big 10 Plus. Seconds remain as the 3-seeded Penn State Nittany Lions lead the 6-seeded Johns Hopkins Blue Jays by 1.
So what Hopkins has done here, Orange Alliance is at the center field logo on the Penn State side defensively. They have 6 defenders on the other side of the field because they can have 6 bodies out there. They're trying to force a turnover right here. That's their whole plan. They're trying to force a turnover, and then they got to go quick.
Matt Traynor, the one with it. Quentin Kilrain trying to knock it free. Under 20 to go. Kilrain forces a long pass to King. King with it in the midfield. Retreating for the Nittany Lions. 2 chasing him. Nobody's near him. Under 10 to go. King loses it. It's on the turf. Picked up there. And another timeout is called. So Johns Hopkins has possession. 7 seconds to go, or did Penn State get the timeout across before he lost it?
Yeah, Jeff Tambroni got that timeout called last second. John King, a high school football wide receiver, playing in, I think he went to Corner Canyon, which is a big school out in Utah. Jackson Dart attended there, just drafted recently, but big time timeout once again from Jeff Tambroni. He seemingly always gets those last-second timeouts for his offense.
Just in the nick of time, Jeff Tambroni gets the timeout across. His team leads by 1. 7 seconds remain, and Penn State will have possession when we return here on Big 10 Plus.